Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today on the CAREpreneur show, which we talk about entrepreneurship, and a lot of times it's in the healthcare industry and in the entrepreneurial journey. And so today I'm really excited because we have Melissa here with AllyRides, a wonderful local company, and I just love her story and what they have done, and I look forward to being able to share that with you guys. So for those that don't know, this is Melissa, Guido from, where did you guys live originally?
We actually moved down here from Staten Island.
Staten Island, right? So, and then I think the best part of this whole journey is when I learned about the previous entrepreneurial journey, which was in the bagel shops, right? Is that right?
Right. My husband had 5 bagel stores up in New York and New Jersey. Yeah. And I had a massage practice, and we just kind of got rid of all of the businesses and bought a house in Florida.
Like, I'm done with bagels. We're done with bagels.
Done with bagels.
I feel like, is that one of those things where you come home smelling like bagels every day?
All the
And like you can't get the bagel smell off of you?
Nope, for sure. It was awesome though.
I guess, but maybe how did you and Joe meet, or where does that kind of story, because I feel like they're definitely, you both had that entrepreneurial spirit, and stuff. So
we did actually. So I was actually, I moved to New York. I was hired by a company called Cooper Industries. Okay. Is
that the tires? Cooper? No,
well, it's the parent company.
Ah, okay.
So they bought a lighting company in Brooklyn. So they hired me to come down and run their sales department.
Gotcha.
So I moved from Rhode Island to New York.
Okay.
And had enough of New York.
Right.
So I moved to Hoboken, New Jersey, which is where I met Joe, because he had a bagel store there not far from my house.
Gotcha. So were you
always stop in for bagels?
That's awesome.
So I started up a massage practice there. Okay. So I lived uptown and worked downtown.
There you go.
So I would always stop in for bagels because his store was open 24/7.
Was it really? 24/7? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. So people come in bagels at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning?
Oh yeah, after the bars close.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was quite a scene. So
did he only have one then at the time?
At that time he had one.
Okay.
Gotcha. So he had sold a couple of the others, and he was in the process of opening a new one, which was upstairs from where my new massage practice was going to be.
Gotcha.
So
did he do that on purpose?
I think it was a divine plan.
Gotcha. There seems to be a lot of those,
It does.
Yeah.
If you pay attention.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, so my practice was downstairs from his bagel store. So he ended up coming downstairs to just escape the bagel store sometimes.
Right.
And I would go up for snacks and lunches or whatever.
That's awesome.
And one thing led to another. We ended up going out for dinner and got married the following Tuesday.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you went home, you went out for dinner and what? You got married?
On a Friday.
Really?
And we got married on the Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did he do to seal that deal? How did that work?
I have no idea.
Did you guys, was this love at first sight? Was it
well,
or had you been kind of
We were friends.
Okay, gotcha.
So we had known each other for about a year.
Gotcha.
But cordial as friends, really stopping in for a bagel.
Right. That's awesome though. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it just felt right.
So then, in what year was that?
That was 2004.
Okay, gotcha.
And
so 2004, and then when did you guys officially move down here?
So we bought our house in 2008, about 2009, right after my daughter was born.
Gotcha.
And then we moved down here permanently in 2017.
Gotcha. So you had, but prior to that, you guys were then traveling back and forth?
Right. We were going back and forth opposite snowbirds. So we were here 6 or 7 months out of the year.
Right. And what made you decide to move to this area? Was there?
Well, I really liked Punta Gorda. We had a friend that had some houses down here that he was renting. So he wanted us to buy a house right next door to him in Port Charlotte.
Right.
But when we were looking, we saw this house that we're in now, and we both absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
So we pretty much bought it sight unseen.
Right. Seems like sometimes you just do it. You just make it happen, right?
That's the only way to do it.
That's
just
right.
Step up and make it work.
So then between that time and the time you decided to move down here, were you guys primarily focused on the bagel shop then, or?
The bagels and massage.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. So and kind of expanding that or growing that side of the business.
I think we were both kind of tired of the bagel business.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work. Having a daughter.
Was it the 24/7 that made it a lot of work, or was it just the manual labor side of it,
just everything, traveling back and forth, the traffic, just the New York lifestyle.
Right. I can imagine it'd be a little exhausting.
Yeah, and coming down here, I always loved it down here.
Gotcha.
So it was like coming on vacation, but it was like coming home.
Right, right.
Even
That's
when
awesome.
we were still going back and forth.
Yeah, and there was, and you don't have, do you have family at all down here at all, or?
I have an aunt that lives in Englewood,
Okay, gotcha.
and I have
gotcha.
cousins that live down in Weston.
Okay.
So I have some family down here.
So had you visited prior to like that one time?
Not really.
Okay,
No.
gotcha. So you just came down here one time, like, this feels like home.
Yeah,
This
and
is
here
it.
we are.
I love it. So then I guess ultimately, like, what was the deciding factor to say, hey, you know what, we're done. We're moving here full time.
Well, I think we were just done with the New York lifestyle. Things were changing up in Staten Island and New York, and it was just so much nicer. Our quality of life was much nicer down here. So we decided, and my daughter decided that she liked it better down here too, my little Florida girl.
Right.
So she said that she would be interested in, just staying in Florida, so we decided to give it a shot.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We had no idea what we were going to do
Yeah.
when we came down here. I was a realtor in New Jersey, and I got my license down here shortly after moving permanently. So we were just kind of keeping our eyes out on what we could do. And we were actually at a friend's house. My husband had a friend in New Jersey. His best friend's sister lives here. So we went over for a visit, and her mom was home from the nursing home. And there was a guy in the driveway with a truck with a lift on it to be able to bring her back in the wheelchair.
Right.
So we're like, wow,
Right.
that was a really cool idea. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did some research and found out that it was really a huge need here in Charlotte County and in all of Southwest Florida, actually. So we went out and researched trucks and found a company that would outfit a truck, all ADA compliant, so I didn't have to worry about that. And we just hit the road.
Is that our guy in Mobility Works?
Yes,
Joe from Mobility Works?
our Joe from Mobility Works.
Right.
He's not Mobility Works anymore, but he's still in the truck business.
Gotcha,
so
gotcha.
if you ever need another one,
All right.
let me know.
Yeah, no, I will let you know. I know. It must have helped us out when we got our last van. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But so when was that something like at the time? Were you guys thinking about starting another business, or were you guys just trying to figure out like what you wanted to do here?
Well, we were gonna start a business, but we just didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of presented itself.
Yeah.
And after a lot of
More
homework
more
and
divine intervention.
yeah,
probably.
there's a lot of those. I guess we were meant to be here.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you see the van, and you guys do some research on it, and then what was the day or the moment that you were just like, hey, we're doing this? Like, was it?
Pretty much when he drove away with Lenore,
Gotcha. Okay.
we
Wow.
were talking about how we were going to get this going.
Yeah, gotcha. That was it.
That was it. It was
so
like,
there-
that was the
the
plan.
We're going to do it right now.
So
Whatever that looks
I
like.
went home and
Yeah.
did the research, and I mean, I knew it was going to be a big need, but I had no idea how big of a need it was
So
really
do you
going
think
to be.
at the time was it like because there were some, but there just weren't enough for the need that existed?
Right, there wasn't nearly enough
Yeah,
transportation.
Yeah.
And also going into people's homes.
Right,
A lot of the transportation was from facility to facility
Yeah.
or
yeah.
facility to home, but
Sure.
not so much home going out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we really made it more personal.
Right.
To be able to actually go in and take someone from their home who has been homebound, and they can actually go out now to a doctor's appointment.
Right.
It's just one of the ladies that comes to mind is she started crying going over the 41 bridge. And my
Wow,
husband was the
wow.
driver.
Yeah.
And he's like, honey, are you okay? And she said, I'm fine. I just never thought I would ever see this view again.
Wow.
And she lives in the most beautiful place in the country.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying like these other like maybe the kind of primary purpose of the transportation companies that existed were primarily focused on like
medical.
More medical. So it was less the personal touch and more of like, hey, get the point A to point B,
Right,
make
and
sure that
that's
everyone's
it.
safe, and like that's
Right,
Yeah.
right, of course.
Right.
So, but we added just a little bit more of a personal touch to it. So we take people home for the holidays.
Yeah.
We were the
So it's
first
like
ones
kinda
to
like
do that.
concierge like transportation.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right. So it's exactly. So we are like a little bit of a concierge
Right.
service.
It's like the Ubers that come and they have like little snack packs and like mints and like
Right.
you know those people that are like extra like over the top. They're like really trying to get those 5-star ratings, you know. And you're
Right,
like,
exactly.
You're like, man, I love this guy. He's got the water set up. He's like, what do you need? You need a cord to plug, charge your phone. Like, It's
Right.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
the little extras like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't give them foods or
Versus,
whatever.
well, I was thinking
but-
versus like the New York yellow cabs, where it's just like,
Right,
get in the
where
car,
just
let's
get
go.
in the car and
Right.
hopefully you're in before he moves.
Exactly, yeah. Because he run you over if you don't,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's pretty wild. I mean, so like I guess at that point in time, when you started out, it was just one van.
So it was one van. We
It-
didn't do a stretcher van. We just
Okay.
did a wheelchair van. And my husband was the primary driver. I was his backup driver, and we had the office phone on a cell phone. So wherever I was.
Humble beginnings, That's
Right,
right.
yep.
Is so like at this point in time, did you have any idea of like what you want to turn this thing into? Like, was there like a concept of like, hey, we want to be this big, or like we want to do this?
Well, I had kind of I could like see my trucks going by. So we had
Right.
them wrapped. We had it wrapped right from
Yeah.
the start, and I could kind of picture, sitting at a red light and seeing one of my trucks go by.
Right.
So I had that vision,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't really know how big we were going to take it. So we started we opened the business in November of 17,
Gotcha. Yep.
and so just over 3 years later, we have 7 trucks,
Wow.
and we're in the process of doing 2 more.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's so exciting to see
It's
that.
really exciting.
That's awesome. Girl.
So I don't know where our line is to stop, but we're, it's exciting. We've got a lot of, so we started working in my living room.
Yeah.
So we've since moved out of the living room into an office, and I have no idea how all that stuff fit in my house.
Right. Well,
But I'm really happy to have it out.
Let's talk about because I had the pleasure of being there.
That's right.
When you had the home office.
That's
and,
right.
And I remember coming there, and you guys had the nice lot next to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that there was I think at the time maybe like 4 or 5 vans that you guys had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was I know it was like 2 transport and maybe 2 caravans or something like that, or like
Right.
the
Yeah,
smaller. Like,
two minivans, I think,
Yeah,
and
two minivans, yeah, sorry.
and 2 of the transits.
yeah, so yeah, I think those at the time, and then I remember coming there and and then set up on your dining room table, right?
right.
Like it's
That's
literally,
right.
it was
That was
literally
my
here's
conference
the
room.
office, that's the conference room,
That's
so
right.
it was like, it was cool to see that because I mean,
The dogs in the background.
Right, the dogs barking, I know phones are going off, like someone's there was
Yeah.
I think you had like maybe 1 or 2 people actually working out of there at the time,
Yeah.
and like. It was like juggling everything. I just remember being, wow, this is. It brought me back
Always
to the
intense.
days. But it brought me back to the days like when we first started too, and like we lived in the RSS
Right,
living facility.
that's right,
Like,
you guys
I remember
lived
like
in
that, like it was just that chaos.
Yep.
It was just chaos, but it was like controlled chaos, right?
Right, organized
Like,
chaos.
organized
That's my
chaos.
favorite
Yep,
saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's where we live.
Yeah. So now let's go back to the name. We got to talk about the name because
Well, so we were coming up with a name, and my daughter's name is Alexandria,
yeah.
and we call her Ally.
Yeah.
So it had to be Ally something.
Right.
So AllyRides, and my husband
love it.
actually came up with the name.
I love it. That's cool though. I feel like so is Ally. Is she proud that her name's like all over town? Yeah.
She's a little like embarrassed sometimes, like
Right.
especially when we drop her off in an AllyRides truck that has her name
Like
written on the side of it.
School?
At school.
Yeah.
But other than that, she likes it.
That's awesome. That's too fun. The other day, so I like just I mean Chelsea or Emily, I take her to school and along the fence on the way in, it has like the little banners.
The banner with Chelsea Place.
With different businesses on it, And so like I was like, man, I gotta get one of of her up there. So I finally got it made, and it has a picture of her on there with like 2 of our members from the
Oh, nice.
center, So so the day I found out that it was there, I was like, we were pulling up, I'm like, Emily, look, it's you. I was like, and she was so shy about it. She was like hiding. I'm like,
A little
I'm
embarrassed.
like all excited for her, She's like, Daddy, like,
That's so
but
sweet,
yeah,
though.
it was super cute though, man.
Yeah.
I get excited to see it every day.
Me
so,
too. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. That is really cool. So now you guys have 7 vans currently.
Right.
And you're adding 2 more of them. That's insane. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we're doing wheelchair, stretcher. We've got 4 stretcher trucks now, and we added an ambulatory
Gotcha.
van. So
Okay.
we can do pretty much anything now.
Now, what do you find to be like your I guess the majority of the type of need that is out there?
Well, a majority of there's a big need for stretchers right now.
Yeah. Is that so? But is that used from like is that like non-emergency?
They're all
medical, or-
non-emergent.
okay, yeah.
We're non-emergent.
Right.
We did actually just all of our drivers, actually all of our employees are actually AED, first aid, and CPR certified now,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
we're going to keep that going
that's
forward. So
fantastic.
we implemented a new training plan program over the last month. And so we'll set it up so all new employees coming in will get the same training.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Punta Gorda Fire Department was really awesome. They let us use their mannequins to get through our classes. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, it was really great.
That's really cool.
They were awesome.
Do you find that because I'm trying to think of stretchers, is that people that are, are they actually on a stretcher? Do they need a stretcher, or is it just that it's just called a stretcher van and it has the ability for?
No, we would go and actually pick them up.
Okay, gotcha.
So if they were in the hospital and was going to go either home or to rehab or something along those lines, we'd go right into the hospital with a stretcher, transfer them to the stretcher, and then take them wherever they're going to go.
Gotcha. Okay, so it might be from like the hospital to skilled nursing, or hospital to assisted living, or
Right,
home.
or home.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
And sometimes we take them out for like an MRI. Sometimes doctors will want to see them, and
Gotcha.
they don't have the strength to get up onto the table.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll take them by stretcher, and then they'll just transfer them from the stretcher to the
gotcha.
machines.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So that might be like in between, like maybe skilled nursing to an MRI, like a place where they could do an MRI type of thing.
Yep, or even home.
Gotcha. Okay.
We actually took someone. We do some work with Tidewell Hospice.
Yeah.
So this one was actually, the person was on hospice, but it was actually a private request. So we picked him up from his facility, and we took him to a park in Venice.
That's cool.
So that he could see his whole family that came for a big barbecue.
That's awesome.
So they had a little spot set up for him. So
cool.
you know, it was safe for the stretcher to be there. And he was there for almost an hour.
That's
But he got
awesome.
to see his whole family.
Love it.
I have goosebumps even thinking
Oh,
about that,
that
because
is so cool.
that's the side of it that really is exciting to me, being able to.
To do that. Yeah, I feel like the MRI is just that is what it is.
Yeah,
but like,
it is what it is.
But that's like
but being
changes
able
someone's
to
life, you know?
take him
Yeah.
to be able to see his whole family.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Guys, that's awesome. I mean, like, so then let's, I know I'm jumping around a little
That's
bit here,
okay.
but I already know the stories. so I got to remember to stay in order here. But like, okay, so we were talking about you working out of your home office, and you know, that being home, work, you know, the conference room, you know, the call center, it was everything, right? So at what point in time, or when did you all decide to move out? Because I saw this beautiful building over here that, you know, seems to be your colors, so.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's
That's right.
yours, but like what
is.
inspired you all to make that decision or move, you know?
Well, it was just overwhelming having it in the house all the time. So it was just time. It was past time to do it, but we just needed to do it. So COVID had hit. We were still busy, but it just a lot more busy with, I would say, a little less work because of COVID, because of all the extra work that goes into it. But there were 2 and 3 people in my house, on top of, you know, actually
Dogs.
living there,
Yeah.
dogs who love to swim.
Right, Ally's
so it was
there,
just
yeah.
It was just a lot of things going on.
Ally must have friends over. It's like, you know,
Right.
after 5, honey. You know, like,
After 5.
Right.
Well, even for a 24/7 business.
Right. Well, I know that's true. Yeah, I know. You guys probably never stop. I don't know. If do you have someone on call like overnights now, or?
We do now.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, gotcha. So you get some sleep now.
So at 8 o'clock, the phones switch over to the nighttime person.
Gotcha. Okay. All
So
right.
I actually do get to sleep unless there's an emergency.
Right. No, I hear you. That's good. That's good though. Exactly. I can take a toll for sure.
It does. It does. But it's all worth it.
No, I hear you. No, and at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I think that's the thing when you think about what you guys and like what we do in healthcare. Sometimes what we're signing up for is in healthcare, it doesn't stop.
No, it
You
doesn't.
know, people don't all of a sudden, hey, you know, it's a holiday. Oh, you don't need care today. All right, you know, it's like no.
Right. We need it every day.
Exactly. So,
Yeah, so
that's like on a holiday. You know, people will be like, oh, you guys are open. I'm like, how do you think this world works? You know, like you think on your banking holiday that the hospitals just close down, and
because
the
it's
airlines
Sunday.
just close down. Like, no, that's not how this works. You know,
Or
so
it's Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I always have to remind people that aren't in. You know,
In the healthcare industry.
Yeah, it's not even the healthcare, hospitality, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of those industries, you know. But I think people that aren't in those kind of forget that, like, hey, there's a whole other world out there. Like a third of the world's still working while you're
Exactly.
enjoying your day off, you know. So, so going back to so what inspired you guys? Well, I mean, obviously I know what did, but
Right. So
how did you find that
It was
building?
really time. So
Yeah.
I had been driving by this building for years,
Yeah.
and it had been empty for years. So
Did it have a for sale sign on it at all? Or?
it did not, but
Okay.
I'm a realtor, so I was looking online, and it keeps coming, and I keep seeing it. So it was on the market for like 3 days.
Wow.
And then it went off the market. So I'm like,
What's that all about?
yeah, well, it was bought up by an investor.
Gotcha.
So I just missed my little window there. But we still ended up negotiating something, and we still got a good deal on it.
Yeah.
And it needed a lot of work because it
Yeah.
had been vacant for a long time. It had people living in it at one point.
Like that we're not
Like
paying.
we're not
so-
supposed to be
yeah,
living
yeah,
there.
yeah. So some squatters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, no, I saw it coming because I come in to work every day on that road, and I remember seeing the roof and
the
this
roof
and
is all
that.
brand
and
new,
the
and-
dumpsters like they were coming in, things were getting torn out. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, they
well, it was pretty much all gutted
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
got it. So that was that part was all done before we did it.
Okay,
We did put the roof on. And what we're doing there is we're setting up a conference room, a boardroom with Zoom capability that we're going to rent out,
Okay.
and also a big Zoom room,
Awesome.
a Zoom room classroom that can be set up any way you want it, with two 70-inch TVs.
Oh, wow. That's
So if
fantastic.
you're having a Zoom meeting, you'll actually be able to see who's talking, because whoever's talking will go over to one TV and everybody else will be on the other one.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool.
And we're gonna offer coffee service or lunch service as well. So if we
Fantastic.
can cater it for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you add a little another side
When
project.
it gets
you know.
done.
Yeah, right.
We're getting there. We're almost
Absolutely.
there.
So like, is the plan then to like have like kind of your call center operations, like just kind of that'd be the hub of everything?
Yeah,
then?
that's gonna be the
Yeah,
hub.
yeah,
So
gotcha. Are you guys officially moved in there yet, or are you guys still kind of like intertwined between?
well, we're pretty much working out of there. It's
Okay.
not official yet until everything gets done and
Gotcha.
everything,
Yeah.
but we are operating out of there,
Awesome. That's
which makes
awesome.
it a lot easier.
Finally get your house back.
Yes, which is really nice.
All right.
It's really nice. No more like somebody at the door. I'm like standing there in my bathrobe.
Right. Finally.
Now they go to the office.
Yeah. You can have a little that personal time. You know,
Right,
so.
which is important.
Absolutely.
Especially with a
100%.
24/7 business, because you need a little downtime.
You do.
Everybody
You gotta
does.
need a little break, and that separation helps, because when you
Yeah.
know, it's hard to really step away. When people are working in your home.
Right, because you have to walk right through it to get anywhere.
Exactly. 100%.
But it's all good, though. I wouldn't change a thing.
I love. I mean, I remember when you first started, and I remember when you first came to to some of the networking events, and you guys were, I remember that first van, and so it's so cool to see how it's progressed and all that you've done, and it really is incredible. So I
Thank
love it.
you.
I really love the journey, So I guess what do you like most about the entrepreneurial side of things? What do you think where do you get the most satisfaction when it comes to that? Like, I mean, is it the fact that you started from nothing and kind of seeing how you've been able to kind of build this infrastructure and this organization now, or
That really is exciting,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of coordination. And, we were here, didn't really know what we were going to do. And we just pulled everything together. We worked hard, we worked together, and we built this little empire.
It's awesome. I love it.
It's really exciting, and we're helping the community.
Yeah.
So, we're out in the community, whether it's doing a last wish or taking somebody home to Christmas dinner with their family.
Right.
It's like
awesome.
being able to help people. A lot of times we're even on the phone consoling people. They're going through so much as a caretaker, had no idea what they were in for.
Right.
So we do a lot of listening too.
Sure.
But it's that whole human side of things that really is, it's
awesome.
it's really awesome. There's
Yeah.
no other word for it.
No, and then what is it like working with Joe? I mean, being married, working together like that. How's
Working with Joe, the bagel guy from Brooklyn.
Yeah. The other guy you married in 2 days,
Yeah. True story.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like you guys actually work together. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like you're just out there marketing and maybe kind of like part time.
Right.
I feel like you
Well,
guys are
where
really
he's
both
strong,
full-time. Yeah.
Those are my weaker side,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
weaker
yeah,
points,
yeah.
and where I'm strong, those are his weaker points. So we really work well as a team.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that is really cool to see that work out. So
Mm-hmm.
does it ever get tough working with your spouse?
Oh yeah, you know that.
Well, I see. It's a little different in my world because she kind of just takes care of the kids, and
Yeah.
I feel like we're not as much intertwined
Well,
as you
we
guys
don't
are.
work as closely as we did before
yeah,
because
yeah.
he's not driving as much, so he
Gotcha.
does like backup. So if we need assistance, and I'm trying to get myself to the point where I can be backup.
Right.
So we're getting there.
Yeah, I know, you can be the backup to the backup.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal, right?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's awesome.
But we've got some great people that are working with us, and they're really. We started having staff meetings so that they're actually meeting each other. So they made some comments that we had no idea there were this many people that worked here.
Right.
So because they
'Cause
never
they're all
see
on
each
the road.
other, because they only see each other on the road.
It'd be
And
like-
if they work certain days, then
Yeah.
generally there are certain people
Sure.
that they would see on a regular basis.
Our home care agency is like the largest part of our business as far as like the personnel.
Right, but
no
nobody
one,
knows
exactly,
each other.
Exactly. So it's like it's nice when you can get everyone together like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've actually been able to do that a few times, which was actually really nice.
That's awesome.
We did our first one around Christmas time.
Okay.
And then we started doing a staff meeting. We started it like every week for like 3 weeks, and now we're doing it once a month.
Awesome. That's fantastic. That's so cool. Love the journey. How many people do you guys have now?
We right now have 18 people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's because the vans are running 24/7 too, right?
Right.
Yeah, so like, is the overnight shift as busy as the day shift?
It's not as busy as the day shift, but we're almost ready for a second person on the night shift.
Right.
Which means
like,
another dispatcher for the night shift, because if it's
Gotcha.
that busy.
Yeah.
Right now, the overnight guy is doing the driving and the phone calls. So he'll get a call from, say, one of the local hospitals, and they'll say, we have somebody in the ER that needs to go to a facility. Okay, I'll be there within the hour, or I'll be there in 30 minutes, and then they'll give them all the information.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So to have someone, because right now he's juggling both those hats,
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's pretty simple right now. But
he's like, I'll give my driver. Hey.
Right. Like, when you have more than one driver, then it's a little bit more coordination.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have somebody on the phones
Sure,
at that point.
Sure. Man, that's exciting though.
Yeah, it is. It's
and then
really
hopefully
exciting.
then you don't have to then you can really sleep, right? If you have a dispatch, like a full-time dispatcher overnight, then you should be good, unless there's like a Mayday emergency, So, man, it's so awesome to just see you guys coming here in 2017. And with this idea from just the inspiration of seeing one person utilize something like that, and then all of a sudden being like,
we just started
boom, and then like here we are, 7 trucks, adding 2 more, got a new office. I mean, what has it been like? 4 years now?
Just over 3.
Just over 3. Yeah, that's huge. That's awesome.
3.5 years.
So impressive. Love it. Absolutely love it. I love
Thank
these
you.
stories. This is what, to me, this is what America's all about.
Absolutely.
Is the fact that you can have a dream, chase that dream, and then just go after it.
And work hard and just go after it and make it happen.
Love it. It's just awesome. So exciting. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well,
Seriously.
thank you so much for having me, Chris.
You guys are such an asset to the community here in Charlotte County, and I can only I look forward to see what happens in the next 3 years. So.
Me too.
And one of these days, I got to see your Zoom room. So.
Yes.
Check it out when it's all done.
When it's all done, we'll have a big grand opening. So.
Absolutely. So if you guys want to get a hold of AllyRides or Melissa, what's the best way they could reach out to?
The best way to reach us is 941-242-RIDE. 242-RIDE, which is 7433.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Join us every Monday at 3 p.m. We love, being able to share stories like Melissa's, where we get that entrepreneurial journey and get to hear her story from where it all began, and just to see where it is today, and you can tell her heart and her soul's in it, and it's cool when you can put your mind to something. If you believe it, if you can dream it, believe it, then you can achieve it. So it's so cool to see that happen, and I just love what you guys are doing. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you guys so much. You all have a great day, and we'll see you soon.